Hi everyone, I'm Mark Cheverton. I'm the CTO at Redgate. I'm going to go through 5 lessons today, hopefully answering the question. I'm going to go really quick. We've got 10 minutes and I'm standing between you and lunch. So one thing that's important is this is my experience. This is Redgate at the size we're at and the kind of products we do. So this isn't in any sense a playbook for you. This is some things which hopefully you can take away some things yourself and work, but there's no one answer to this question. So a bit of context first. This is Redgate's revenue graph. We started off with a nice simple model, download, try, buy. It was nicely scalable. It was low cost. It did very well for the first 10 years or so. The red dot is the point at which I joined the company, and we entered into a period of flatness. The model wasn't scaling anymore. It was very difficult. We started, in terms of innovation, to look at things which would replace the business of Redgate rather than things that would enhance. We started to kind of innovate way outside our kind of usual space. And then in 2016, we got our act together and we managed to return to growth. And I think the stories I'm going to tell you today are essentially from that period. So, first lesson, and I think this kind of harks back to some of the conversations in earlier sessions. It's really important in a more mature company to know where your products are. When you're in a startup, you can design the business around the product. In a bigger company, you're going to have lots of different products at different parts of their life cycle, and one kind of way of dealing with things won't fit all your products. Hopefully you're all familiar with this, Geoffrey Moore's kind of life cycle model. On top of this, we basically batched 4 different stages. Credit to Ken Beck for influencing this, and Dan North if he's still in the room. So in Explore, we're trying to find product market fit. This is our kind of innovation function, trying to get to the point where we've found something that will succeed in the market. Sorry. In Exploit, these are the high growth products. They're doing really well. Our job in that mode is to capture as much of the market as possible, as fast as possible, increase the service addressable market. Once products and markets are mature, we're more in the sustain phase. We're trying to get a return on our investment. And in the final stage, these are things which are in decline, and we're trying to maximize our profit. These are cash cow type scenarios. And the key point here is, as I said earlier, different methodologies, different goals, different practices apply at different parts. If you don't know where your products are in this cycle, you won't be applying the right methodology. So it's really important to be able to locate your products. Okay, lesson 2. Spot your entrepreneurs and empower them. In a startup, you're going to have, everyone seems like an entrepreneur, everyone's a T-shaped person. In a larger business, you're going to have a lot more specialists. Those entrepreneurs are going to be harder to spot. And it's really important to spot them. Developers aren't fungible units. Not everyone can do this. So you need to pull those people and put them in the right location to do the best work. One of the things that influences us is Dan Pink's book, if you haven't read it. I think everyone has by this point, about what motivates people. So we're very focused on autonomy, mastery, and purpose as the motivator rather than salary and rank. These are the things which get people out of bed in the morning. But we're also quite influenced by this book. This is about a book about servant leadership. So it's about pushing the decisions down the organization as far as possible, having leaders at all levels in the organization. And I think this is particularly relevant when you're talking about innovation. You've got to find those entrepreneurs, you've got to set them free and give them the power to make the decisions and find their way. Lesson 3, about focusing your innovation efforts. When you're doing innovation, if it won't graduate into the core business, then there's no point in doing it. This was our folly during that kind of difficult period. And we also need to kind of focus our investment. We've got a limited amount of investment. We need to cycle through ideas fast, and we need to apply an appropriate amount of investment at the right point in the cycle. So to that first point, this is the kind of map of the area we had in 2016. We've got some areas where we're extending our addressable market. So we're going from SQL Server database DevOps to more general database DevOps. But we've also got adjacent markets that we're going into, say from database DevOps into database compliance. Before 2016, we had things which were way off this map, kind of totally different areas. And I think the important thing is to know where you're playing, where your next kind of extension is of the existing business, and play to that. This is the kind of process in that early pre-market fit when we're exploring, and this is about that kind of ramping up of investment. So early on, we're cycling through lots of ideas. We're mostly doing user research. We're not really building very much at that stage. And we gradually, as we pass through gates, where we get more certainty, we challenge assumptions, we're investing more people, more resources, and we're starting to build things out until we get to the point where we found product market fit. And in the search for that, this is another book recommendation. This is a book about how you look for commitment when you're doing qualitative research. Qualitative research, you can easily get trapped by people who will compliment you. At Redgate, we've got huge numbers of fans who will tell us anything that we do is fantastic. That's not very helpful when you're trying to figure out whether there's a market opportunity for something you're building. So this book is a great bit of guidance. And this is the kind of model we use there. When we are not a B2C business, so things like the lean startup methodology are really difficult to apply. We're following a model which is much more about co-design with our customers. And so what we're looking for is not a statistical validation, but a signal of commitment as we go along. And what we're trying to do is lead people through a process of implementing the solution, of committing the most valuable thing they have prior to purchase, which is their own time, to try the software out, to get it into use, to get it into production. And then we know that that commitment is a good proxy. And we've kind of formalized this into a kind of a EAP process, and through that process, the most important thing is this bit at the bottom, where we're throwing people out of the process. And that's key because here you're not only looking for your minimum viable product, but you're looking for your ideal customer profile as well. So you've got to define that beachhead where you're going to start and then you're going to move out from. And that's the intersection of the very minimal product that you're launching with the very small number of users who will be absolutely delighted by that minimal functionality. And from there, you can move out to the next. Okay, lesson 4. Leadership is a team sport. In a startup, the people are founders, there's the inventor, there's often that kind of visionary leader. But in our kind of more mature companies, it's a team effort. You are not reliant on that rock star individual. At Redgate, we have a leadership model which essentially looks at 3 perspectives. We've got the product managers bringing a sense of commercial kind of viability of the solution. We've got the technical kind of function bringing the technical feasibility, and we've got designers bringing the desirability. And at the intersection of those 3, if all those people are playing together with their different perspectives, we feel we build the best products. And harking back to the discussion about design thinking, this is the double diamond approach that was mentioned earlier. Through that approach, where on the left you're trying to find the problem to solve, and on the right you're trying to find the solution to that problem, the different groups kind of wax and wane in their involvement in that process. So this isn't about handing over from kind of one to the other. It's about people with different perspectives on the problem collaborating together because their roles overlap. And you should celebrate that and kind of try and promote that teamwork. So last lesson, share insights, not data. When you're a small company, everyone knows what's going on. It's easy for everyone to be a domain expert. Often they come from that period. One of the challenges with a more mature company is, the people building the solutions often don't understand the domain. They're not solving their own problem. And there's many other people you need to influence and bring on board with your innovation as well. So that's a real challenge. And some of the tools we use, we do things like personas, which describe the customers that we're targeting. We have customer journeys, which talk about their journey through the products or through a workflow. We have jobs to be done, which describes what the products are actually for and how we're doing those. We have value proposition canvases, which pull that together in terms of pains and gains of the customer and pain relievers and gain creators of the products. The key thing here is not that you should adopt these practices. You'll have your own set that work for you, but the point is you need these to be able to communicate with the rest of the company, to be able to communicate in a concise form. You can't expect everyone to be an expert in a larger company. One of the things we've done in recent years, which has been very good, is we started running our own internal conference. So the Level Up conference we've run for the last couple of years, and everyone at that conference who is speaking is a Redgate employee. So we're sharing that information with ourselves, both on the techniques and the technologies, but also about the customers and the products, and that's been a very positive experience. So in summary, 5 lessons. Know where your products are in their life cycle so you can apply the right techniques and processes. Right goals. Spot your entrepreneurs and empower them, because not everyone's a fungible unit. You need to pull those people out and give them the environment to succeed in. Focus your innovation efforts. If you just kind of do things just without context, then it's not going to be able to come back into the company, reinforce. It's not going to play to your strengths and your unique advantages. Leadership in a large company is a team sport. It's not about finding rock star developers who are going to invent the next thing. It's about bringing different perspectives together to collaborate on the same problem. And finally, share your insights, not your data. Can't expect everyone to be an expert. You need to have everyone to a good level of understanding about what your innovations are. So that's me. Thank you very much.